Hello, 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 hello world. It's just me and me at the moment. That's how it seems. Always feels really weird at the start of a live stream because it just feels like me, myself and I, and as somebody who doesn't really talk to themselves very often other than my internal voice, because very many of us have one of those. It's always a bit weird to hear my own voice, really. Hi there, Andy. How are you doing? There's somebody in chat. Yay. That's always a good sign. Now I'm going to go to top chat at the top and switch that to live chat so that all messages are visible, because I've learned something. When I've been on recent live streams, and I know this for sure with Autistic Not Alien, for whatever reason, my account seems to be shadow banned. And, I've never done a naughty on YouTube, from my understanding anyway. So my messages don't come through on Neil's account for some reason, which is extremely annoying. And I think it's possibly the same for Autistic AF. I went on his live stream this week, just briefly, but I don't think my messages were coming through either. So that's, just a tip for you. When you go on live streams, if you go on, it will say top chat at the top and change it to live chat, you'll be able to see everybody's comments. So I do try and remember to do that whenever I start a live stream. Thank you for asking, Andy, how I am today. I'm actually not feeling very well, and I was in two minds whether to do this live stream or not, but I thought, you know what, it's Creative Autistic's birthday, and even if I only last half an hour or an hour, that's something, isn't it? Because I like to feel like I've achieved something at the end of the day, as do many autistic people, I've learned. Basically, without boring everybody too much, I do like to try and raise awareness of MCAS where I can, because many autistic people have MCAS and many don't know they've got MCAS. But basically, it's when you become allergic and extremely allergic sometimes to foods or medicines or environmental triggers, and I am extremely reactive at the moment. I only eat a very small amount of foods because they're the only ones I can tolerate, and I'm losing some of those foods at the moment, so I'm a bit panicky. I've lost oats over the last week, and oats have made up quite a large part of my diet, so kind of thinking, what the F am I going to eat? I might have lost crisps as well, and there's only a tiny amount of processed food I can eat, and one of them is plain crisps. So you've only got very basic ingredients in a packet of plain crisps. So it's essentially potato, salt, and some kind of vegetable oil, which is usually kind of like a rapeseed oil, which I'm fine with. But I'm kind of reacting to crisps as well, which I use for fats. That I can't eat a lot of fatty foods, so crisps have been really important. Plus, I love crisps, but I am reacting to them because I ate some earlier today and my tongue's still burning. So that's my main reaction. My tongue and my eyes burn, and I, after a little while of becoming allergic, I then tend to get extremely ill. And the first time I had a proper MCAS flare, I was in bed for about 6 months. So I'm really hoping it's not going to be the case, or that's not going to be the case this time around. I am on mast cell stabilizers now, which do help some of the symptoms, but not all. But I'm really concerned that I'm becoming allergic to food again, because if you're allergic to food, you can't eat. And at my worst, I could only eat 3 foods, which was plain chicken, avocado and sweet potato, and I lost a hell of a lot of weight, and I'm quite a small person anyway, so I am a bit worried. But I'm really sorry to offload there an info dump, or a little bit about MCAS, but I do try and raise awareness. So if any autistic people out there are experiencing similar issues, like becoming a bit allergic to stuff, it is something to be really mindful of, because there's not a lot of information on MCAS out there. And it took me maybe, when was I, 44, up until about 2 years ago. So what's that? Oh God, me and sums. Maybe about 5 years to figure out I had MCAS, because the doctors were just saying it was like some kind of FND, which is functional neurological disorder. And it wasn't, I've got MCAS, it's a very real condition. So yeah, just trying to spread a bit of awareness. Oh my God, Pandarique. Oh, that is honestly so sweet of you. I don't know what to say. I always get so, I don't know, a bit emotional really with I think they're called super chats, aren't they? Honestly, thank you so much. You really didn't need to do that, but I'm really grateful. Thank you, my friends. That's such a sweet gesture. But yeah, happy birthday, Creative Autistic. I can't believe it's sort of 2 years old now. What started as just a few videos just to get, this new diagnosis off my chest and into the ether has become, just a thing of itself and a very real thing. And I'm just so grateful. And yeah, who knew this would happen? I said a few times that, I just started this channel for two reasons, really. Firstly, I had an art channel up until then. I was going to say I still have an art channel, which I do. I just don't upload there because I don't make clay arts at the moment. See my little models here. And I thought, people on that channel aren't going to give a shit about me being autistic, really. So I thought, I'll start a new channel and divert people from clay disarray to these videos if they're interested. And the other reason I did it was because I couldn't really find any videos on autism and perimenopause and menopause. So, I just kind of blurted out everything on a video about my perimenopausal symptoms through an autistic lens. So, yeah, those were the two reasons. And I honestly thought that would be it, really, because I thought, well, people on clay disarray really aren't going to be bothered about, me being neurodivergent, because many artists are. So yeah, I just couldn't believe it. It was about 3 months later. I think I posted 3 videos. There was my initial autism diagnosis one, and then there was the perimenopause one. And I think maybe there was another return to just trying to come to terms with my diagnosis after that. Maybe I'm wrong on that one, but I can't quite remember what the third one was. But I left them because I thought, I've done it, I've spoken my truth out into the world, and I'll just leave it. And I honestly didn't think anything would happen. And I think it was about 3 months later, there was like a little kind of flurry of interest in my first video. I think it got sort of, I don't know, maybe 5,000 or 6,000 views, which for the first video is really good. So yeah, it just all went from there, really. And I've been uploading mostly every week since then. And yeah, I just still can't believe what a community to find. I wish I knew you all years ago, because I just think it would have made such a difference in understanding myself. And I'm sure many of you can relate, because it's just a common experience, isn't it? Oh, Richard. Oh, crikey, thank you ever so much. That, honestly, that's just so generous of you. I don't know what to say. I wasn't honestly expecting anything like this today. Thank you. Honestly, I genuinely mean that. I'm really touched. To think that me babbling away means anything to anybody is just over the moon, really. Hi there, Helen. Happy birthday to Creative Autistic. It is 2 years, and I created the channel also on the 29th of February. Can't really remember if I did that as a conscious thing or not. Knowing me, it would be, because I like kind of oddities, really. I think probably I did choose that day on purpose, maybe. I think I was diagnosed in or around the 18th So I left it a few weeks. And because my memory is so bad, I'm pretty sure I thought, I'll leave it till the 29th because it's a quirky day. But it just means it's sort of difficult in following years to, know which dates or which day to go for, but or dates. But as I do live streams on a Sunday, it makes sense to be on the 1st of March, really, or certainly this year. So yeah, that's yeah, it's just astonishing. I can't believe it's 2 years, honestly. And what time is it there, Jeffrey? I think do you usually come on about 10:30, but I've started an hour later today, so maybe it's about 11:45 there. I'm just riffing from the top of my head. I'm probably completely wrong. Over in New York. Hi there, Larry. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, how was everybody's February? Let me know, or let us all know. It was I don't know, it's really difficult to talk about things without talking about the whole world at the moment, isn't it? And I do want to, try and avoid, world politics and stuff, because it's, for one, YouTube doesn't like it, but two, I do try and create a space where, we can just try and at least not forget about things, but divert our attention to, things that are a bit softer just for a few moments, really. It has been a conscious decision of mine to do that. I know there are other autistic creators that do talk about, world events. Neil from Autistic, Not Alien, for one, and I'm in complete admiration of them. But I know for me, I get so stressed out about all of it that I don't know. It's kind of detrimental to my own mental health, I think. So that's certainly one of the reasons why I try to avoid the conversation a little, I guess. But yeah, you can be safe in the knowledge that I am very aware of what's going on in the world, and it's sort of heartbreaking, really. But yeah, February. What was February like? What have I done on YouTube? I did a menopause video. Maybe I've done a couple of menopause videos this year. And I know menopause stuff actually isn't for everybody. And yeah, I've been kind of mulling over if menopause content is a good idea on my channel. I think ultimately it is, but I do want to ensure that everybody feels involved on this channel. So I think going forwards, I might make like a perimenopause or menopause video, maybe once a month or something, just because there's, so little discussion on it, really. So I've done 2 of those this year. What else have I done in February? I can't even remember. Let's have a look. And again, I can't show you my desktop, can I? Because I do need to look at some proper software at some point for live streaming. Oh yeah, I did some autistic confusion stuff, things that confuse my autistic brain. So if you'd like to share any today, any idioms or metaphors or all that kind of stuff, by all means, please feel free to do so, because, I can relate. They all send me bonkers. Oh yeah, and there was Autistic Barbie as well. So that was, yeah, going back a few weeks now, wasn't it? So I think I managed to make 4 videos in February, so that was a good month. Don't think I managed it in January, but yeah, I think the other reason I'm a bit concerned about MCAS is that I'm just worried in case I have to take a break from YouTube. If I do get too poorly, I'm hoping that because I'm on mast cell stabilizers at the moment, that helps with my condition. It won't get that bad, but if I have to take a break, I'll have to take a break. But I'm really hoping that's not going to be the case, really. Radish Raven, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us. Oh, it's good that you come on even though you're not feeling great. Yeah, I do try to, provided I'm not in a state, where I just can't do it. But I remembered that I'm sweating. I don't know why, because it's cold today, but I did put the heating on before I started here. I kind of realised today that I moaned about feeling poorly for the last few live streams, or, at least having quite severe brain fog, and that's still kind of going on really. But I don't know if it's off-putting for people for me to come on and say, oh, I'm not feeling very well, but I do think it's part and parcel of the whole experience, isn't it? Many autistic people anyway struggle with brain fog. Many of us have chronic conditions, so I feel like it's just giving a bit of representation to that. It's kind of real, isn't it? I've seen what's his name, Ryan Kelly. He does videos, doesn't he, where he's not feeling great as well. Haven't watched them, to be honest, but I have seen them pop up where he does like unmasked, and well, there's 3 uns in it. I can't remember what they are, but there's unmasked and unplanned maybe, and underprepared or something like that. But I really sort of like that idea when creators will come on, because I think it's so easy to sell like a false idea to people of what living with autism is like, because it is so multifaceted, and many of us struggle with burnout and brain fog and all sorts of stuff really. So I think it is important to show up and kind of demonstrate that, so that everybody who's kind of watching kind of thinks, yes, can relate to that. I go through that too, because I think it's just so easy to sell, like sell's the wrong idea, or wrong word really, but to sell this idea that everything's kind of almost perfect all the time, because we're able to show up and talk about how we're feeling, or things to do with autism on YouTube. But I think it's important really to show sort of all aspects really. So I'm quite happy to come on and babble about how rotten I'm feeling. Hi there, Stephanie. How are you doing? Happy birthday to the channel. I can't believe it's 2. It just feels bonkers. It feels to me like it's probably around 6 months old still. I think it's in its sort of years now. And there was another milestone this week, and that we reached 5,000 subs, which honestly seems bonkers to me. So yeah, I'm just so grateful. Excuse me while I have a slurp of tea. And, not that the sub counts means a lot really, and certainly in terms of YouTube these days, because YouTube or the powers that be don't really look at sub counts anymore in terms of how well a channel is doing. I think they look more at the individual performance of each and every video. So, it is a kind of a different measure these days, but it's still a lovely milestone to get to. Not all of those 5,000 people watch my videos. It's important to remember, because many people will sub to a channel, they'll watch one video and like it, but they'll never watch another video again. But so it is an arbitrary measure, but it is a measure nonetheless. I just like kind of celebrating milestones really. I think it's important to try and note your achievements here and there, isn't it? So yeah, I guess I'm just saying that for small creators really, and myself included. Numbers don't matter, but just celebrate the small wins kind of while you can really. And I think it's good in terms of trying to keep kind of motivated on YouTube as well. If I do weird stuff with my mouth today, it's because my tongue is really burning. Laura, hi there. Oh gosh, I can't even pronounce that. And I daren't even try, but I get the gist that it's Happy St. David's Day. So happy St. David's Day to you too. And happy birthday to Creative Autistic. Again, it's astonishing. Oh, we've got quite a few comments now, so I've got a bit to catch up on here. Oh, you've helped me through my own path. I owe you a lot, friends. Oh, Pandarica, you absolutely are my friends. So, and it's so amazing to think that I'm yours too. It's just the internet, all the computers that kind of get in the way. I like to think of us all kind of sat round in a big room really, but because we're autistic, we don't want to actually sit around in the big room. So it's kind of the next best thing really, I think. It's the way I look upon it anyway. Oh, woo, happy birthday, CA. Thanks, Richard. Yeah, it just felt really important to jump on today. I think I would have felt so bad had I not, and I'd perhaps left it to next Sunday. So I feel actually better now I'm online. I think adrenaline kicks in, doesn't it? So, and my brain fog isn't actually as bad as it has been on previous lives. So that's a win. I'm taking it as a win anyway. Oh, your channel has really helped me put words into how I feel about my own diagnosis and muddling through life thus far. So thank you so much. Oh, well, thank you, Larry. Honestly, I can reflect all your words back at you and everybody here because, you know, I think it's easy sometimes to think that autistic creators have it all figured out, because I can tell you we haven't, and certainly I haven't. So in many ways, I'm kind of seeking my own validation through putting stuff out into the world, and, you know, for you folks to respond to it, because it's really helped me in endless ways when I've talked about stuff that I thought really was only relevant to me and my own individual brain, really, because not everything can be attributed to autism, of course, because we're all individuals, but a hell of a lot can be. I've figured out. So thank you. I don't know what that message is there. Let's celebrate their 10th super on our live stream. I think that's YouTube telling me something, but as with YouTube, I don't know what that means, but I'll ignore it. Oh, thanks, Richard. I appreciate you as well. And yet we're certainly all like-minded people sticking together. Hey, hi there, Jim. How you doing? I'm glad you joined us. I do appreciate the feeling, though. I never feel like my babbling means anything to anybody. But in your case, it does. Thanks. Thank you. And I'm sure Jim won't mind, but we wrote a really interesting comment the other day. Sorry, I feel really sweaty today, which is bonkers because I never get sweaty. I'm on HRT, so I don't get hot flashes, but maybe today. Yeah, Jim mentions that, and I'm sure Jim won't mind me saying, but Jim is partial to the odd long comments here and there. And I really enjoy them because it is nice to have almost a deep dive into somebody's thought process here and there. And I don't know if anybody else will notice this or has noticed this, but he said that he feels like he's a sort of outlier in that he, you know, writes long comments when, through his observations and my observations, that most people will write, you know, perhaps a few sentences or a couple of paragraphs. So he said he felt, you know, like an outlier or a bit different. But I noticed actually when I first started this channel that there were quite a few people that left really, really long comments, you know, really long sometimes. And you know, the kind of comments where you have to think, oh gosh, I'll have to wait till I've got a cup of tea to sit down to read that comment because it is really long. And I always read my comments, you know, it might take me a few days, but I'll always get through them. And even if I don't respond to everyone, because sometimes it is impossible to, you know, I do read everybody's comments. But yeah, when I first started Play Disarray, there were quite a few people leaving long comments, but of course I can't leave that kind of, or can't write in that amount of detail back to them. So, you know, invariably I'd just write something which noted, you know, I'd read their comments, or perhaps just responded to one element of whatever they were saying. And I was always so appreciative of people leaving these comments, because I just figure, you know, it must take a long time to write them. But I've noticed as time's gone on, these kinds of comments have become fewer and fewer, which is really interesting. And, you know, I think undoubtedly one of the reasons is that I think whenever there's a new guy in town or a new autistic creator, people tend to flock and, you know, try and figure out if that's somebody that they're going to resonate with, and, you know, etc., etc. And perhaps they do for a few videos, and then they'll find somebody else whose content perhaps is more appealing to them or is more meaningful. So, you know, they'll tend to go off and watch that other person's content. So I think, you know, undoubtedly that's possibly one of the reasons. But I do think it's really interesting how comment size has become kind of smaller over or shorter through the years. And I don't know whether that is people are writing shorter comments, or perhaps, I don't know, they're just moving to other channels who perhaps indulge more of that kind of content, or they're able to have a deeper dive into comments and write more back to people. I don't know, but it's an interesting observation anyway. So yeah, thanks for writing that, Jim, because it hadn't dawned on me actually till you said that yeah, there's definitely been fewer long form comments over the last year, I'd say. But if anybody has any theories, let me know. And it's a shame you can't write long form in the chats. And I think that's why, incidentally, I got shadow banned on the live chat, certainly on Neil's live stream, because I remember I had quite a long comment to give him and I broke it down in two. And I think I tried to upload or enter the second part of the comment too quickly after the first. And I don't know, that's the only reason why I think I've been shadow banned on people's live streams. But I have researched it, and it has happened to other people, but they do get the ability to comments, or at least to be seen to be commenting maybe a year or so later. So hopefully it's a temporary thing. 10:45, well, it'll be 11 now in New York. Not bad for my memory, and the same in PA. Hello there, Mrs. Biffle Chips. That's a nice word to say, Biffle Chips. Happy channelversary, thank you ever so much. Oh, crikey, it's 2:49 a.m. It'll be 3 a.m. now in Australia. Wowzers. Richard, I take it you've got a bit of insomnia going on. I think I maybe remember you talking about that before, maybe on somebody else's stream, perhaps. Not quite sure. My memory is so rubbish, so apologies if that's not the case, but I'm pretty sure you might have mentioned insomnia before, which is a horrible condition. Oh, I really appreciate your content as another perimenopausal autist. Thank you. I'm, you know, I said a little bit earlier, I am planning to make more content on perimenopause this year, and it was really born out of somebody left a comment saying that they just, you know, it's the first time they'd seen anybody talk about it, and it just meant so much to them. You know, the intersection between autism and perimenopause. So, you know, that's why I've made a bit of a concerted effort really over the last couple of months to talk about it more. So yeah, there will be more videos on that. And if anybody has any specific thing that they'd like me to talk about, like, I don't know, masking or unmasking through the lens of being perimenopausal and autistic, by all means, let me know. Right, I'm going to get this right this time, because I always struggle on this username, but they always turn up to my live streams, and I'm so grateful. And I know the English translation is level crossing, but it's Passaggio a livello, I think. I looked it up this week. I Googled it, and I'm, you know, it's I think because it arrives as one long word, I just couldn't quite get to grips with it, certainly in the moment when it comes up as a handle name. But it's Passaggio a livello, I think, and that is probably still terrible, but it's probably a better effort than I've made before. But a very good afternoon to you, and thank you for being here again. Yeah, there seems to be a Northeast US contingent. There does seem to be, actually. Yeah, it's just so lovely to have you all here. And I made the effort actually to come on an hour later today. I've talked previously in live streams that I have, I've got dry eye syndrome, and it gets worse when I look at screens when it's dark, essentially. So even with, you know, lighting and stuff. So that's why I've come on later today, because, you know, the years are drawing out, and I'm planning to as we go through the year and the days get lighter, to push forwards my live streams so that more people can take part, because I think the later you are in the day, the more likely folks are to turn up, really. So that's the plan, and that was the plan for last year, but I got waylaid last year, and I just wasn't able to live stream for a bit, so that never sort of happens. But that is the plan this year, provided MCAS doesn't get in the way. So it just means it will be in the evenings here, so it will be kind of afternoons for everybody in the US, and hopefully it will work out a bit better. But as we go back later in the year towards darker days, then it will get earlier, if this makes any sense at all. Autistic Jenny, how are you doing? Lovely to see you, my friend. Oh, you're in Alabama. I don't think I knew that. Andrea, hello there. Hello from Scotland. Transponderings, hi, how are you doing? Lovely to see you. Happy Tuesdays. I can't believe it. Honestly, I've said it a few times on this stream. I honestly can't believe it's 2 years, because it really does feel like about 6 months. It feels like I've really just started the journey of creative autistic, but it's obviously, become its sort of own thing, really. And yeah, it just feels bonkers, if I'm honest. Oh, that's interesting, Kitty. Haven't found good autistic perimenopause info elsewhere. So if you want to talk about it, I think there's definitely a space for you. I'm interested. That's good to know. If anybody knows me, they know how much I hate AI, and I do. But I relented this week, and I went on it for the first time because I thought I want to ask it something about YouTube. And I thought, the AI version on Google, which I think is called, I left it up here, the response, Google Gemini. Because I thought, what, it's like a plug-in directly to YouTube, because I want to ask it some things about autism content and whether it's potentially being suppressed. Because I've noticed, and I think Jenny will find this interesting as a creator, and Jenny is another, I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying, another middle-aged autistic adult. So by all means, go and check out Autistic Jenny's content as well. But I'm pretty sure, and I hate to buy into conspiracies and stuff, because I'm really not that kind of person. But I've noticed that when looking at even big autistic creators' view counts, they've really dropped in the last, I'd say, year or so. And I think there are multiple reasons at play here. And, there are, for one, YouTube is really promoting shorts now. So it means that there's less like real estate available, if you like. When you look at YouTube's homepage, there's only like, I don't know, 3 main video spaces come up at the top, and then there's a row of shorts. And I always say show fewer shorts and stuff because I'm not interested. But YouTube has become harder for people, and I've noticed that even on Creative Autistic, because the first year this channel was really showing some good signs of momentum, but for the last year things have really slowed down. And it's not going to stop me, because you're my community and I've been able to find friendship here. So I'm not going anywhere, regardless of what YouTube is doing. But it does seem that let me go back to the question I asked it. Is autism as a topic being suppressed on YouTube for any reason? And I'll go into a little bit of discussion about the American government have some dodgy views on autism, so I can't help but wonder. And let's read through, because it comes up with all sorts of rubbish, doesn't it? And obviously anything with AI should be taken with an absolute pinch of salt. Where was it? I don't know if this was the right one or not, because I asked it a few questions in response to it. But I think the crux of it is that in respect of America, and obviously there's the EU online safety and harms policy. I can't remember what it's called, but it means that YouTube is more reluctant to show content that could be seen as kind of sensitive, really. So obviously, what was that other thing called? I'm really sorry I haven't shown up prepared with this today, but maybe I'll do a video on it at some point. But there's all sorts of policies going on here in the UK as well. We've got stuff going on with children and online policies. So basically, YouTube is now erring on the side of caution. So anything that is like mental health related or autism, menopause as well is another area. They want to show content from like the NHS, say, and established medical organisations, rather than content from people who are making content, really. So it does seem to be, and I am going to research this further because it was only 2 questions essentially, maybe 3 here that I asked. And again, everything should be taken with a pinch of salt with AI, but I do think there is something here that I do think there is something going on with different kinds of content, and it just isn't being shown to people in the same way. So I just thought I'd mention that actually, because obviously Kitty mentioned menopause, but also Jenny is here as well, and I know Jenny has had issues with getting views, and as have we all, really. So I know maybe the start of last year I was get, I don't know, maybe at least 1,000 views on a video over the course of the weekends, but it's in the hundreds now. So that, yeah, I think there definitely is something going on, and I just wish I was a bit more prepared for telling you about it today, because I have to get it clear in my own head, really. Well, I should get it clear in my own head before I discuss anything, but I think there is something going on with YouTube, and there was also a thing with ad block as well. I think that was in August last year. If desktop users were watching content with ad block installed, those views weren't being counted, and it does seem that may have resolved itself. I'm not entirely sure, but that definitely was a thing. So I just thought it might be interesting for some folks, because I'm sure that other creators have noticed, and they may be talking about it as well, because it's affecting everybody. And it's just a shame, isn't it? Because I think content from autistic creators is so important, so that everybody can learn about autism through lived experiences and relate. It's all very well having, I don't know, say for instance videos from the NHS, but it's very kind of I don't want to say education rooted, which of course it is, but it's very kind of staid in its style, really, in comparison to an autistic person telling you their story. So yeah, I think there's something going on anyway, and I probably sound like a massive conspiracy theorist now. Richard, you found out you don't have MCAS. That's interesting. It's actually chronic fatigue syndrome and dysautonomia. I can never say that word. I don't know. I need to look it up. I know exactly what you mean. POTS is a form of dysautonomia. Oh, that's interesting, because fatigue is a massive part of MCAS as well. So I think it can be really confusing trying to establish actually which one is which, really. So I don't doubt it was confusing for you, but I'm glad you've been able to get that diagnosis now, because there's all sorts of research going on around ME CFS now. So that's brilliant to see. they've been able to, I think, off the top of my head, it's something about the gut-brain connection. They've been able to establish recently, so that's great. So hopefully, I don't know what kind of treatment is available actually for CFS, but I think sometimes it's just being, safe in the knowledge of what's going on. A diagnosis is so important, so at least you can understand what's happening. Yeah, I agree, Helen. We should all discuss all kinds of subjects. Oh, I love the sweat. Do you know, Jenny, I've had this cardigan for about 20 years. It's such such a staple of mine. It suits live streaming pretty well. Unmasked, unedited, unwatchable. That's what it's called. Yeah, I think he's done a few videos, Orion, hasn't he? I should watch one of them really to see what they're like. But I imagine he's sort of just turned up as himself, really, without a oh gosh, what's it called? Any prompts or as to what he's going to say. Maybe I don't know. I'm just imagining. But I think it's a really good idea to do videos like that because it really is important to see kind of all facets. Ah, although I don't usually comment, I'm a big fan of your channel. Thank you ever so much. Passaggio a livello. I'm going to have to say that a few times before I get it right, but I think I've made a little bit of progress today. Oh, I just found out the other day I share my birthday. Happy birthday, Laura. Oops, gosh, there's still a few comments to catch up with now. This is brilliant. Thank you, everybody. Oh, there's loads of comments. I'm well behind. Let's go down a little. Yeah, Ryan and Paul are two autistic Australians on YouTube. Any other Australians? You're the least Slurpee tea drinker. I do try on here, but I'm certainly not. Yeah, I do tend to slurp my tea, I tell you, because I kind of glug it because it's like a stim for me usually. I should clarify in case there's any confusion anywhere that today is not my birthday. I don't think there is any confusion, but just in case, because I do think sometimes when you say it's like a channel birthday, some people might think it's your birthday, but it's not my birthday. My birthday's in May, so there's still a bit to go. Got your catnip tea, Jenny? Catnip? Catnip tea? Is there such a thing? Crikey. I've got red bush tea today, which is pretty much the only tea that I can drink. Yeah, this is a million times better than being sat around in a big room. It is, that's, oh gosh, I just get so conscious of my body wherever I'm sat in a room with other people, because, I can't help but stim. So I'm tapping my feet and just feel so awkward. And you kind of know, particularly if it's a room where you have to kind of, perhaps share stuff with people. And I'm just thinking in work environments, really, I can never, ever take in what anybody else is saying. That thing where you've got to introduce yourself to other people in the room. I can't ever hear or absorb anything anybody else is saying because I'm thinking, it's going to be my turn in a minute. It's going to be my turn in a minute. And I'm just absolutely horrified by it all. So I'm just really pleased this isn't a big room. And I'm convinced everybody will be thinking the same in chat. Hi there, Neil. How are you doing? I was talking about you earlier and I can't remember what it was now. What was that about? Oh, I shouldn't do that because that's annoying, isn't it? That's that ASMR thing. I mean, I do like ASMR, but the whole tapping thing I'm not into. Yeah, Neil, I was talking about how I'm shadow banned on your live stream, and I went briefly on Autistic AF's live stream this week, and I'm pretty sure I'm just not coming up on people's live streams for whatever reason. So it's frustrating. I think what I'll have to do, I do have a second channel that I've created for live streams last year, but then I changed my mind and I went back to this channel. So maybe I'll use that channel whenever I go on other people's live streams, because it's just nice for people to see your comments, isn't it? And it's yeah, I just feel like I don't know, I've just lost my thread there. What was I on about? Right, hold on, let's go back down again. Oh, my mouse isn't working now. Why isn't that working? Come on, mouse, what are you doing? Yeah, so as I was saying, Neil, I try to go into live chat now, which you're probably aware of. You know, at the top where it says top chat, if you change it to live chats, then you're able to see everybody's comments, basically, because it gets quite confusing, I think. Sorry, I don't know where I am now. I'm going to try another mouse, actually. Bear with me. For whatever reason. Is that any better? Oh, it's another $2 that's come up. Pandarica. Thank you for that. I don't know what's going on. I can't quite see everything that's happening on my my thing for some reason. Why is that happening? Well, anyway, let's go back to where I can get to. There was a load of comment. Maybe I need to go back to, was it top chat? Because there was a load of comments there and now they've all disappeared. Do you know, I wish I was way more techie than I am, because I'd be able to firstly use software, but there, yeah, maybe there's some of returns there. Oh, bear with me. Sorry about this, folks. It's gone quite weird in my chat. I don't know where I am, and I was somewhere else. Doesn't make any sense, does it? I had like a load of comments, so I still to get to, and there's still quite a lot to get through. But I don't know where the others have gone. So oh well. Let's just read these ones. Hi there, Be Ever Curious. You were diagnosed, I think, this week, weren't you? Congratulations. It's amazing once you get your diagnosis, isn't it? You know, it's such validation. I just wish that assessments were available to everybody. It makes me so angry. Oh, I'm so grateful for the very late diagnosed community, as there's so little consideration of older elderly autistics, ADHDers. I was diagnosed at 62, yeah, after disintegrating. Yeah, I feel like it's so important, isn't it? Because I appreciate that there are some pretty big or very big autistic channels. But like for instance, Meg over at I'm Autistic, what now what? Or what now? One of the two. And I don't know if she's the biggest at the moment. Possibly she gets the most views. Um, and while it's great, it's, you know, it's really important to have these channels. I feel like because she's younger, obviously she's in her 20s, she's going to appeal more to the younger audience. And I feel like also older autistic people can relate to Meg's comments because, or videos, because we've all been Meg's age, haven't we? But I think when you flip it the other way, the younger audience isn't going to gravitate to older people's content because they're not going to be able to relate in the same way. I think some topics undoubtedly so, but there will be a lot of stuff that you know, they're going to figure, you know, that's not relevant for me because I'm a young autistic person. So I think it's yeah, it's I don't know, I just wish there was kind of more representation on a wider scale actually for the older community really. So I think it's good to see you know, middle-aged autistic people sort of doing their bit in representation really. So I think it's, yeah, just really important. Yeah, I've learned that. I learned this actually on my last live stream. You can, it turns out you can say no to the AI summary on Google searches if you type -AI at the start or the end actually of your search. It's so great, isn't it? It's so nice to be able just to, you know, clear out all the shit basically, because the amount of just rubbish that comes up. Yeah, Lizzie, I think you may be reading the chat in top chat, not live chat modes. Yeah, they're both different. They both give up different options or different kind of formats of orders, don't they? Which is interesting. I don't really know why there's a distinction between the two, why they're both offered. Perhaps it's more relevant for, you know, massive channels, and it might, you know, help sift out spam, etc. But I don't know why it treats me as spam. With my scintillating comments on other people's live streams. Yeah, I hate that YouTube defaults to that. Yeah, I do too. I don't know why. It's frustrating. Or at least if they made it more obvious, actually, because I didn't know it was there until I was told about it. Oh, thank you for the for the $2 again, Pandorica. I can now see your comment in context because it was just all out of sync a little while ago. Yeah, we have an issue with no social media for under 16s in the UK, just to let you know. Yeah, there's a thing happening, isn't there? You know, personally, I think, you know, having support systems in place for young people through, you know, having places to be able to talk with other young people, for me, is, you know, it's only a good thing. Can we not just figure out how we make spaces safer rather than ban them? You know, just makes sense to me. But, you know, I'm not a politician. I think everybody's trying out top chat and live chat now. Yeah, I started questioning if I was autistic in my 20s, but it was only after seeing real people's lived experiences that I realised I am going by the DSM criteria. I didn't fit. Yeah, I think it's quite hard sometimes to see yourself in formal words or formal descriptions sometimes, isn't it? And yeah, it just goes to show the power of watching content from autistic people, because I think it really does help to explain autism in a way that the DSM kind of doesn't really. I think it's so important. Ah, thanks, Kitty. I do. It's pronounced dysautonomia. Yeah, it's a weird one, because I've heard this word mentioned in so many YouTube videos I've watched on it, but for whatever reason it just does not stick in my head. And when I see it written as a word, there's just some words I find that, because I do I haven't been diagnosed as dyslexic, but I definitely am, along with kind of Erlin's syndrome. So I find looking at a page of text is quite challenging, in that my brain wants to look at the background before the text. So I've always had, various issues with words, but some words just look so difficult in terms of trying to pronounce them, even though I know at some level how to pronounce them, because I've seen or heard this word no end of times on videos, but it just will not stick for some reason. Yeah, good old rejection sensitivity, Jenny. I think it's, definitely an issue for some of us. I know it is for me. I keep meaning to do a video on it we'll do at some points. Hi there, Andrea. Yeah, MCAS, it's really difficult to get a diagnosis, as I'm sure you'll understand. Just to quickly summarise, I was really ill started on Boxing Day 2018. I got a load of nerve pain up my scalp, and I then had horrific symptoms like electric shock pain through my body, fatigue, my eyes wouldn't work, so I couldn't sort of see properly, all sorts of stuff. And my GP didn't want to know. I eventually, 6 months later, got an MRI scan, and found, there was nothing there. So they diagnosed me with functional neurological disorder, and I do believe FND is a very real diagnosis, but I feel like, or I think that this is given as a diagnosis when the doctors just can't be bothered, or they don't know, basically. But some people do have FND, and it is a diagnosis. But for me, I was just never convinced by this diagnosis, because I was able to find out that a lot of my symptoms were attributed to food, and that FND, that there is nothing to suggest that that is related to food. So I knew something was going on. So I eventually got a private diagnosis. That was I think it's the same week that I got my autism diagnosis, so it would have been 2 years ago, last week or something. And I just had to go privately. I see a doctor, or I saw a doctor online, thankfully. I think she's based in Scotland, but I've just had to stop seeing her, because I can't afford treatment, basically, because it is really expensive to see private doctors. So thankfully she was able to prescribe me some mast cell stabilizers that I've had to fight with my GP to prescribe. Eventually they relented, and I do get my medication through the NHS, but they have said, this could change at any time. This is how it is for now, but if their decision is challenged internally at any points, then they could stop at any time. So that's how it is. And it reminds me of the whole CFS ME or ME CFS situation, because people used to laugh at that diagnosis 10 years ago, didn't they? You know, what is it? It's meaningless. Or certainly, probably not 10 years ago, a few decades ago, certainly in the 80s, you know, the very early discussions around ME were always called kind of yuppie flu and stuff, you know, really horrible wording and descriptions. And I'm heartened to see now that finally ME CFS is being treated seriously, because it is a serious condition. And I only hope that, say, in another 10 years, you know, MCAS will be talked about in a similar way, you know, because NHS doctors don't really want to acknowledge its existence. And I think part of it is political, because once they do acknowledge MCAS fully, then of course people will need medicines, and medicines cost money. So at the moment there's no NICE guidelines. I don't know where you are, if you're in the UK or not, I'm ever so sorry, but here in the UK there's no NICE guidelines. And NICE is National Institution, or is it National something? I'm going to have to look it up, because I'm going to annoy myself if I don't. NICE acronym. It's basically the governing body. National Institute for Health and Care Excellence. So there's no NICE guidelines, and essentially for every health condition there should be NICE guidelines. So without those, I think even GPs that want to help out are restricted, because they've got no guidance as what to do, really. So it is all in the hands of private doctors at the moment. I think for the very worst cases of MCAS, those that have anaphylaxis regularly, then obviously they're going to be treated more seriously. But for those of us that don't experience full anaphylaxis, I get partial anaphylaxis. So, you know, I still get horrible symptoms. I'll get like really severe itching and desperate need to go to the loo. It's really, really horrible. So thankfully I'm able to stop any major episodes just by taking an antihistamine. But, you know, that's not going to be forever, potentially. I don't know, you know, if you're not having proper treatment, it's hard to know. But I don't have an EpiPen or anything like that. So again, that's a worry. But that's the state of play at the moment, really. But I have done a video on MCAS. I can't remember if I talked about my diagnosis or how I got it specifically. Maybe I did, but I have certainly done one video on MCAS, and maybe I'll do more as time goes on as well, because I think, again, it's another condition that people need to know about, and particularly autistic people, because it, you know, it is a co-occurring condition, really. So I hope I didn't ramble on too much. Oh, Jenny, this is the sweetest and most genuine person, as are you too, my dear. Jenny does so much for the YouTube community, and not only for people watching content, but for other creators and small creators in particularly, because she does, you know, like creator collabs, and, you know, gives a space to other autistic people to be able to collab with her on her channel. So I think she does some amazing stuff, really. So go and check her out. Michelle Unmasked is an Aussie channel. I don't think I've heard of Michelle Unmasked. That's interesting. Maybe I'll go Michelle Unmasked. I like to follow other creators. So let's just see Michelle. And I should say actually that, oh, I see. I think maybe actually I recognise her from somewhere. Maybe she's been on somebody else's video at some point. I should say also that Neil over at Autistic Not Alien has a brilliant channel too. He was in chat a little while ago. I don't know if he's gone, but yeah, go and check him out too. Phil Lawson is a relatively new ADHD. Let's have a look at Phil Lawson too. Yeah, I've been on for over an hour already, and I'm astonished because when I first came on, I thought, I'll be lucky to make half an hour because I didn't feel very well, but I feel better actually for being on. Phil Lawson, that's autistic older adults. Interesting. It's nice to know about other creators because it's nice to be able to talk about them in context, when other people do. Hi there, Jan. How are you doing? Oh, your first time attending a live stream. Wow. And you've been brave enough to comment as well. Thank you. Thank you. Whenever I comment on a live stream, I don't go on very many live streams at all, really, because of my eyes. I have to be so careful with screen time. But I might jump on one for a few minutes. And I've been on Neil's for a few times, Autistic AF a few times as well. I can't remember if anybody else does live streams. I think somebody Sam does them very occasionally as well. But I always feel a bit like, oh, should I comment or not? But yeah, it's very brave of you to comment. So thank you. I never need a real reason to eat cake. Gosh. Oh, Richard, is that another live chat? Is that another? Are they live chats or super chats? I always get confused. Thank you ever so much. Oh, crikey. Thank you, guys. Honestly, I'm really, really touched. Thank you. Yeah, first I've heard of shadow banning on live streams, so murky. And it was on yours too. I think I remember the moment it happened. I did mention earlier, but if you're still here, Neil, I'll just tell you again quickly. I think I was writing quite a long comments and it wouldn't fit on one entry because there's only, so many digits you can put in. So I split it over two, and I think I hit the second one too quickly after the first. So after that, I don't know, my comments just don't come through unless you go to you have live chat showing. So it's a pain in the arse really, because you just figure, if you're on a live stream, you want people to be able to see what you're saying. Hello. Gosh, that was weird. I don't know if this is even going to work. I was cut off there. I don't know why, but I don't know if you can even hear me now or see me. I don't know why that cut out. Hello. And back. Phew, I thought I might have to start again then. So that's good. Wonder what happened there. How weird. At least I didn't have to start a new stream because I don't think that's what anybody needs really. I do the same tongue clicking sound when I'm thinking, am I doing a tongue clicking sound? Because I do it. I do a tongue clicking sound. So I blow kind of bubbles in my mouth. I'm not aware I'm doing it at all. Hey there, authenticism. I feel like it must have shadow banned me this time. You're not shadow banned. I can see you. Let's go back into live chat though, because I think that means that I can see more comments. Gosh, it's so interesting. A few of you are saying that you got ADHD diagnosis along with your autism. that must have been so useful because I had to do mine kind of separately, but it just makes so much sense, doesn't it, to have them both considered at the same time, really. And you can then kind of work out your own story from then as well. You know exactly what you're dealing with essentially, because it's difficult to go through the one diagnosis and then kind of realize, I'm not quite fitting in with kind of this criteria or that criteria, but then it kind of makes sense that, oh gosh, I've got ADHD too. And for me, certainly, autism is definitely in charge, but yeah, the ADHD was not as apparent at all, certainly at this stage of my life. I think had I been diagnosed maybe in my 30s, the ADHD would have been more obvious. So it's really interesting. Oh, Jeffrey, every autistic creator I watch on YouTube is younger than you. It's interesting, isn't it? I wish there was like, a whole plethora of different autistic people, from, to have full diversity. We need like a whole different array of autistic people of all ages and, genders and ethnicities. I think it would just be so brilliant to have that maybe one day so that, we all feel represented. Yeah, Jim, I feel like I'm guessing what's happening. I scrolled back up and saw replies to me that weren't there before. That was kind of what was happening to me. Reply speed overall has sped way up. I think they hold comments for a while to evaluate. I think maybe they do. Ah, you're 72, Jeffrey. Yeah. I think it'd be great to have a creator in their 70s, wouldn't it? So, as I say, it's just be great to have representation, but of course, we can't force people into creating content. But I hope that one day we'll have better representation. I found a new female older autistic creator, which I'm excited about. She's Arlene on the Spectrum on YouTube. Is she Artist on the Spectrum? Because I think she's mates with Neil, Autistic Not Alien. I do know Arlene because I think she's commented on my channel a few times, but I do need to check her out actually. Which reminds me, do I follow her? Because if not, I think I do. I can't remember. Spectrum. Yeah, it's Artist on the Spectrum, Arlene Bishop. I'm not following her, so I will follow her now. But yeah, I think she's mates with Neil because I've seen her in Neil's live chats a few times as well. Yeah, Jenny, I think the topic of aging with autism is not talked about enough. Yeah. That's if YouTube lets us talk about this kind of stuff, at least let people see our contents. Autism and TBI here, authenticism. What's TBI? Can't think off the top of my head. You'll have to tell me. Another older autistic creator is late diagnosed. Let's have a look for late diagnosed. It's nice to be able to give little shout outs to other creators as well, because it's only through kind of things like this that you get to hear about other creators. because, you know, YouTube doesn't really suggest small creators. Certainly lately, I've not noticed it. Yeah, late diagnosed. A channel where I share my personal journey of being diagnosed with ADHD and autism at the age of 54. YouTube has occasionally held chats with the word autism in. It's an autism community live stream about autism. A face palm, isn't it indeed? Crikey. It's not great, is it? I will research this further with the old, you know, sensitive material. It seems bonkers to me. Yes, Helen, with Erlin syndrome, you can have different coloured paper. Yeah, mine is like a it's not quite blue and it's not quite green, so it's more like a sort of turquoisey. So, and I can't find it, which is frustrating because I'm usually really good knowing where everything is. So I think it's something that Ian's put somewhere because he's a messy pup. So I do need to find that. But in case anybody isn't aware, Erlin syndrome is, as I said earlier, you kind of have difficulties with seeing text because it's almost like the background is more prominent than the text itself. But you can have like plastic overlays of different colours, and they help reduce glare for one. So kind of makes it a little easier to see the text. So I have done a video on Erlin syndrome as well, if you're interested. It is a contentious diagnosis, however, because some experts don't really want to acknowledge its existence. But, you know, it is strange how many of us can see benefits in using these overlays. So whether you want to call it Erlin's or a subset of, you know, dyslexia, it doesn't really matter. It's all about getting a result that kind of helps you, isn't it? So yes, imagination lives as well. Is it imagination? It is imagination lives, isn't it? Because it wouldn't be imagination lives. That wouldn't make sense, would it? But Hunter is really great as well. He's got such a lovely way about him, actually. And I do follow Hunter, so I should actually catch up with some of his videos. Lizzie, I'm so glad you've gotten answers. I am assuming that's about YouTube or maybe Ebcast. I've rambled on about a few things today. Oh, Anna, thank you for joining me today. You're off to grab a cuppa. Lovely to see you. Thank you. I never know whether to call whenever I know somebody's name with a handle, I never know whether to call them by their name or their handle. So in case you're wondering, that's why I call you Transponderings Anna. It's just I never know whether to call anybody by their name or not. But I think you've gone now anyway, but just in case you watch this back. Yeah, Jim, yeah, that was another thing I wanted to talk about. That's why YouTube is demanding age confirmation now. It's clueless because one of the options I was given was send an ID or a credit card. Crikey. But yeah, that's another reason why, you know, sensitive material isn't being shown to many people, because if there's any worry that it's a young person watching content, they won't be shown our content. So it's just really frustrating. I think YouTube has been hard throughout all of time. You know, I've had a channel, my art channel is probably 12 years old now, and you know that was hard, but it is really hard at the moment, harder than ever to get your content seen by people. So if you know, it's just a good time to support autistic creators by firstly watching their videos all the way through, because that shows you know that their stuff is interesting, and liking and maybe leaving a comment, and watching more than one video at a time. You know, they're all the things that you can do to really help out autistic creators, you know, not just mine but everybody's, because I think as I said earlier, it's not all about numbers, but you do want to know that your stuff is being seen by people at least, really. So yeah, thank you for reminding me. That was another thing that I wanted to mention. But yeah, YouTube is really, really hard now. Oh, Lowry is currently going through various hoops for a probable lupus diagnosis. It's mind-boggling how challenging it is to get taken seriously and to be heard by the NHS for certain. Yeah, and you know, lupus is a well-known condition as well, and to think that you're not getting treated seriously for lupus is it's just frankly anger-inducing. Remember to drink water. Well, I've got my second cup of tea here. And these are massive cups as well, as I'm sure you can appreciate, but I just need loads of fluid. Yeah, Andrea, thank you. Private seems to be the only way forward. Yeah, for so many things. I think if you want to get, you know, treatment pretty fast for anything now, unfortunately, it's the private sector. But of course, most autistic people don't work, so how are we supposed to afford this stuff? It's just ridiculous. Oh, creative collabs are so much fun. They are fun, Jenny. I'm so pleased that you've opened the doors really for so many people to be doing collabs. I am tentatively thinking about collabs this year myself. I think certainly if I've got sort of some MCAS flair at the moment, it won't be particularly soon, but I think certainly in the year or later in the year, I do want to figure out how to be able to you know, have conversations with other autistic people in sort of real time, not live stream, but, you know, to record like interviews and stuff. And so whether that's Zoom or what's the other one? There's like Google Meet, isn't there, and other stuff as well. So I think that's something that I'd like to investigate later in the year. Because I do think it is interesting to kind of not break up your content, but have different kinds of content, because I think things can get a bit kind of samey for people after a while. Because, you know, I'm always in this corner and just talking about a specific thing every week, which I'm grateful for people turning up and listening to, but I think I bore myself with it sometimes. So it'd be nice just to have different things, really. One of the videos I'm planning for March is creative journaling and getting started. If you know if you're a beginner or anything like that, because I think with the whole alexithymia thing, you know, many autistic people struggle with how they're feeling. I think getting into journaling's a great idea, and you know, I need an excuse to get back into it myself, really. So I did talk about this, I think, at around about Christmas time on a live, but I've needed the days to get a bit longer, so I've got more daylight to work with, really. But yeah, I think next month I'll probably start on the not live streaming. I'm doing live streaming now on journaling videos, and they'll only be sporadic, you know, once every so often. But I think it's just to kind of break up all the kind of very samey content as well. I just want to try different things this year, and we'll see if they work out, really. Radish Raven, I didn't know she had a channel. Oh, let's have a look. Radish Raven, everybody, has a channel. Ah, my apologies to you, Radish Raven. I didn't know you had a channel for whatever reason, so I've just subbed to you now. So many new creators I'm learning about today. although I have known about Radish Raven because I've seen her comments a few times, so it's nice to know that you've got a channel too. And if anybody else has got a channel, please feel free to write it or let me know about it in comments. I'm going to be here hopefully till about 5:30, I think, because then I'll have done maybe 2 hours, which I'm astonished about, really. I didn't think I'd get that far today. Oh, this is the longest I've ever hung about on a live stream. It's been lovely to have you, Jenny. I honestly didn't think I'd last this long today. It's and I had a load of what they call bullet points for things to talk about, and I've not needed even to revert to them because they're not that interesting anyway. It's just sometimes I like to be prepared when I come on a live stream, just to have a few things, just to kind of riff on if I need to, but I don't think I've needed to. The only thing was the AI thing, really, so that's nice. Hi there, Peekaboo. You're very brave to go live. It does feel like that sometimes. Sometimes when I'm kind of on it, which isn't quite the case today, I really enjoy live streaming, and I am enjoying today's live stream, however. But when my brain is like fully operational and I'm able to respond properly and all of that jazz, it's not that nerve-wracking, but it wasn't so bad today because I'd allowed myself to come on and say I'm not very well, I'm not going to be here for very long, which wasn't the case in the end, thankfully. But for the last 2 live streams, I really, really was struggling with brain fog, and it really is a brave decision to go on and do a live stream when you've got brain fog going on, because it's really hard. And particularly the last one that I did, there weren't very many people around for the first few minutes, so a lot of it was essentially talking to myself, which is quite a hard thing to do. And the reason I do that is because some people will replay a live stream, so I may as well just chunter on about something or other. But it's really difficult when you've got brain fog and you're just trying to riff nonsense for a few minutes before people start coming into the chat. So I think I had a little bit of a worry that might be the case today, but thankfully, I think because I started an hour later as well, I think that it meant that there were a few more people around, which I think has really worked out. So I think I'll definitely, as the year goes on, pull the live streams back, an hour each time perhaps. So the next one, April, will be what time did I start today? 3:30. I might start at like 4:30 or 5 or something for that one because I'll have more daylight to work with. Oh, there's a few buffering contact. I think that was a while ago, actually. I think I'm well behind on comments now, thankfully. So that was really interesting why it went down, because I honestly thought that would be the end of the stream, but yeah, weird. Oh, Jenny, I didn't get an ADHD diagnosis because I calm myself too much with melatonin. How interesting. I have to remind myself to sit up straight. I've got that. It's the autism posture, isn't it? Because I don't know if anybody else will be able to relate, but my spine kind of bends a bit as well. I've got such dreadful posture. I'm just going through comments. Oh, TBI is traumatic brain injury. I get you. So perimenopause, brain injury, and autism together felt like dementia. Gosh, I'm sure it did because I've not got a brain injury, but perimenopause and autism, and so in my case, I'm CAS. But yeah, I felt really worried about potential dementia when I mentioned it in a perimenopause video recently that sometimes when I go down the stairs, it's like my brain does a thing. It's like a short circuit, really, and momentarily I kind of forget what I'm doing, and it's so frightening sometimes because it happens on the stairs when you're going down them. So you think, gosh, I can fall over really easily, and I have stumbled actually going upstairs once when it happens. So I have to be really careful about holding the side rails and stuff now when I use stairs because yeah, it's just the thing that happens for some of us in perimenopause. Although I should state that if you are having this as a symptom, you should get it checked out. But for me, I've been able to research that it's I've always had dreadful issues with proprioception, which I've been able now to attribute to being autistic. And for me, anyway, I think it's just an exacerbation of just this lack of awareness of where I am, where my body is in terms of space sometimes. So it just, yeah, it feels like a short circuit. And it was really interesting to see other people say that they have similar things going on as well in comments. So it is really frightening when you start feeling like your brain is kind of letting you down somehow. Once more of us start aging, don't worry, the internet will soon be full of our info dumps on the experience. Yep, I think that's true. Oh, you had the frog book, Jenny, did you? I've heard about that frog book. I don't know very much about it. For your autism assessment, I'm assuming that there's no words in the book, and you have to come up with like a narrative of what's happening. I'm assuming anyway. Gosh, it's so nice to see so many people chat to each other in chat. Just really evidences how useful live streams are, because it's not just me rambling on that's useful for people. It's just being able to find community even in chat, really. It's just lovely to see. That's easier. Auth or ism on Discard. Ism. Thank you for that, because for me anyway, it's a little bit of a mouthful. I trip over words so easily. I made my catnip tea and forgot about it on the counter. I'm astonished that there's such a thing as catnip tea, really. I wonder what that tastes like. I don't have cats, so I can't remember what catnip kind of smells like or anything. Mild and minty. Interesting. Do you have cats, Jenny? I'm not trying to steal it off you. I don't think you've cats anyway. I think you're a dog person, aren't you? I think you've got a dog. Yeah, I have to be careful with notes. End up with 6 or 7 notebooks full of random stuff. I am trying to get into, just talking of notebooks, I am trying to get into journaling just for myself really, but it's just so difficult to make it a habit. I'm so dreadful at just trying to do a thing and repeat the thing over and over. But yeah, I do really want to get into journaling this year. I want to learn to draw again really as well, because I'm not able to make clay models, which frustrates me because I feel like I need another creative endeavour. Although creative autistic is, of course, a creative endeavour, but I used to be pretty good at drawing years and years ago, and I've given it up really as a consequence of working with clay. But this year, I really want to get back into drawing because I really like the tactile nature of holding like a pencil or a paintbrush or whatever. But I need to get back into it this year. Oh, thank you for joining me, Jan. I'm not going to be on here much longer, actually, I don't think, because I'm starting to get a bit of a headache now. And your evening meal is ready. I hope it's delicious, and I hope you enjoy your evening. Oop, my chat's just jumped again, and I don't know. There we go. Hi there, Ashley. How are you doing? Oh gosh, I had a 20-minute phone call with a stranger the other day, and after my anxiety was through the roof. Oh, I had to have a sleep. I find it just utterly exhausting. I think years ago I didn't actually mind too much in talking to strangers on the telephone. I've just always not been able to talk to friends on the phone, but for whatever reason I could deal with the more kind of formal structure of a formal call essentially, because I felt like they were easier to understand. But as I've got older, I do struggle with them more. I can tolerate them, but I know what you mean about anxiety, because I feel utterly exhausted at the end of them. But I don't know how people manage to talk to friends on the phone. I remember once when I lived in London, and I think I've talked about this story, but I befriended this girl at work, and we kind of got on for a while. She was really funny, really clever. And I've always been in awe of clever people, because I've, just thought, why can't I be that clever? But no, she was great. And I remember I gave her my phone number, and she rang up one day, and it was fine for a minute. And I thought, she's going to get to the point in a minute of what she wants, why she's called. And she just never did. And I thought, what is this about? She's just ringing me up to tell me what she's, watching on telly, or, whatever nonsense was going on during the course of her day, basically. And I put the phone down. I was just utterly confused by it. And after that, like every few days, it'd be the same. And in the end, I just had to pull out my landline because I couldn't cope. I absolutely couldn't cope. And I just had to absolutely withdraw from that friendship because it was just so overwhelming. So I don't know if anybody else has done anything as extreme. Just get rid of your phone. That'll deal with that problem. Yeah, she was full on. I feel like ADHD prevented me from fully realizing my autistic potential. Gosh, what a statement. I find it funny, Jim. I don't know if it was intended with humour, but that is really funny. I'm sorry if it wasn't intended. I feel like autism. Oh my God. I feel like autism has prevented me from realising or fully realising my ADHD potential. I'm sorry, it's really made me laugh. Gosh, I got really dizzy. Oh my gosh, when you've got low blood pressure and you laugh, crikey, it's quite the head rush. I don't know why. I don't know why that's really giving me the giggles. Gosh, do you laugh at like the weirdest things? Because I do. That's honest. That's going to stay with me all night now. Oh my gosh, Jim, I can't stop laughing at it. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna get boiling hot again. I'm gonna have to move on because I can't look at that without laughing. Does anybody else find that really funny? God, just honestly, I get caught up in the weirdest things sometimes. I can't stop laughing at. The autism posture, it's not really a thing, but I think, some autistic people have dreadful posture, and I'm certainly one of yeah, sitting like a scampi. That is Oh, crikey, you're all at it today. That's exactly it. Autism posture is sitting like a scampi. I absolutely love that. I've never heard that one before. Gosh, I'm getting so lightheaded now. Oh, I have scoliosis, so I sit curls forwards and sideways. I don't get too much pain from it unless I stand for an hour or so. Makes art galleries painful, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't doubt. Oh, you got a mini trampoline. I think that'd be really good actually, because I do jogging now and again. I haven't been able to do it for the last few weeks because I've not been well enough to, but it is hard on the joints sometimes. So I think a trampoline would be really good for just, easing those movements really, because they can be sort of quite harsh. Because I run on the pavement outside as well, so there's no give in the pavement at all. Actually, honestly, I hard relate here. The past couple of months, I keep saying the wrong words. I think up and I'll say down. I will think fridge and I'll say stove. Honestly, it's completely normal in perimenopause. I do this all the time, and that's why I get so worried sometimes about doing live streams, because I know even when I'm recording a video, I'll just say the most ridiculous words that has no context whatsoever. But it's so common with declining estrogen. Your brain is going through a really difficult transition in trying to cope with different levels and declining hormones. So it is completely normal, and I hard relate there because I do this all the time, honestly. Oh, Richard, maybe I have perimenopause. I get dizzy and sometimes think, oh, don't fall over if don't hold on to things. I think, declining hormones are going to be a thing for men as well, just in, it's varying degrees really, isn't it? But I know, even Ian, he's noticed cognitive change and he's 53. So, it's all really kind of normal stuff. I just wish, this was kind of not more widely known and widely talked about really. It does affect men too, but, to different degrees and in different areas. And it is something, you know, I need to research as well, because Ian will do no research whatsoever. So it'd be good for him actually if I read up on it, so it can further explain to him, you know, what's happening, because it was only through my neurodivergence, for instance, that he sort of found out about his. So it's probably a good thing to do. Right. I'm getting declining daylight now, so I'm getting a bit more eye strainy. So last 10 minutes now, I think, to get me to, or maybe I'll do the full 2 hours. We'll see. Oh, Kitty, I go up my own stairs on all fours if nobody's on. Honestly, I've done that too. It's just so weird, isn't it? Because I feel like I was only my young self a few years ago, you know, at maybe 35 to 40. I just felt like I was in a place where I finally kind of understood myself better, although I hadn't had my autism diagnosis at that point. But, you know, I was starting to kind of figure stuff out, and my body was still able to do stuff. I was able to move it without pain, and, you know, all of that stuff. I was able to eat normally. And then, you know, perimenopause hits, and there's just so much to deal with. And I'm so envious of people that go through perimenopause with, you know, barely noticing it. I'm so envious, because I would have loved that. But I should have known, really, because my mum had a dreadful menopause. But for whatever reason, I just ignored all of it and just thought it would never happen to me. But, you know, it's and as I said in the perimenopause video I did recently, when I researched the autism book, I'll show you it actually in case you haven't seen it. The Autistic Menopause book here, for those that don't know about it, was published last month, and I think it's a really good read and an important book. But, you know, research does say that those that aren't as informed about perimenopause or menopause are more likely to have a more challenging time, and that includes more severe symptoms, interestingly. So it's just so important to be aware of, isn't it? And I just wish I'd known how life-altering it would have all been, I think. I don't know, would it have made things any easier? Probably not, but I would have at least understood what was going on. And maybe that would have helped with the depression side of things that I went through as well. Just so important to know about this stuff. Yeah, Richard, I didn't have any children's books for my assessment either. I think it's dependent on your diagnostician and, you know, their chosen methods, really. So interesting how this just, you know, it's really different, isn't it? How different one assessment can be from another, because I'll just have a sip of tea. For instance, mine, I went through Right to Choose here in the UK, or here in England actually, and it's private sector and it's funded through the NHS, because the waiting list was so huge they had to involve the private sector. So mine involved filling out really lengthy forms, and Ian had to as well, and then I had an hour assessments online. So you know, that was mine. But I know that assessments for other people can go on for months, essentially, and having multiple appointments and you know, all sorts of stuff, and having to go through different tests and stuff. So there's no kind of uniformity to it at all, which is interesting. Hi there, Enchanted Widow. How are you doing? I'm probably going to be here for another 10 minutes, just so you know. I always feel bad when people kind of join later, because I feel like, oh no, I'm going to have to go soon. But I will have to go, because it is getting darker. We're losing daylight, and I need daylight to be able to see screens properly. Oh, my assessor was the one who finally explained working memories to me, being able to hold pieces of info in your head long enough to work with them, like RAM. I'm terrible now. I'm way worse than I used to be, but for me, it's long-term memory. It's utterly dreadful. I did have a head injury in my 20s, but I don't know. I don't think it was related. Possibly, I don't know. But my long-term memory is so terrible. Some things I'm pleased not to remember though, but it would be nice to have more of a memory of my life. And it makes me sad, even memories with Ian. We've been together, I don't know, 18 years or something like that. But I can't remember stuff we've done together. So it's not even traumatic stuff I've, helpfully forgotten about. It's the nice stuff as well, which is really saddening at times. So Ian's fully aware of this, and he'll talk about things and say, "I know you won't remember this, but," and I just wish that I wasn't like it really. Wish I had a fully functional memory. Hi there, Nicholson. Thank you for joining. Oh, I wish I could read the chat, but my dyslexia gets in the way. Yeah, I can understand that. It is difficult at times because my dyslexia is it's a mild dyslexia, but some days I know what you mean. I do struggle more than others, and I do find chat really difficult to kind of zone in on. So yeah, I do get your frustration there. Cats. We've all learnt about catnip tea today, Jenny. Thank you for that. Maybe I should try once this MCAS flares out of the way. Maybe I'll try it. What? I don't do all fours unless my trigger point goes off, but I've wondered if tiptoes really is an autistic trait. Do neurotypical people really put their heels down on the stairs? Seems unsafe. Do I put my feet down on the stairs? I can't figure it out if I do or not. I don't think I do. Maybe I do. I'm not sure. Does anyone else here not answer phone calls and heavily screen them? And even put your ringer on silence and your phone ringtone when it is on classical music. I just don't answer the phone, Jenny. The only phone call I'll ever answer is Ian, but we're always together anyway. And maybe the hospital, if I know it's the hospital. And I think that's the only phone call I answer. I just don't, because I'm just on a load of junk lists as well, certainly over the last year. I don't know if there's a leak somewhere, probably. But I just don't answer the phone. And Ian always tells me off for it because I've missed important calls from the hospital, but I'll just leave the phone ringing because in another room, because I think it's just going to be a junk call. So I just don't answer it unless I'm expecting a call. Oh, Jim, you don't mind you laughing this if I right, okay, you were serious. Right, okay. It's sometimes difficult to get tone. Right, I get you. I'm sorry for laughing, but I don't know, it really tickled me for some reason. Yeah, I'd have been a scientist or probably an architect. Yeah, I get what you mean. Um, yeah, I don't know what I would have been. Well, I would have been an artist, really. I know what I would have been, but I would have maybe been able to. It's difficult, isn't it? Because if I wasn't the person I am, because if I didn't have, say, autism or ADHD, I wouldn't be who I am. So I wouldn't know anything other than this. But yeah, I know what you're saying. If I didn't have ADHD and I might have done things differently, perhaps, because I could never settle anywhere, and I jumped from job to job. But also, I feel like I would have needed supportive parents or parents singular as well, because um, yeah, I feel like I would have had to change a whole lot of stuff in my life to be able to get to where I ideally would like to be, really. And it is a thought process I've had since my diagnoses. But yeah, certainly my ADHD was definitely more disabling through my adult years. I don't remember too much about being as affected in my childhood, apart from finding reading difficult, particularly in class settings, you know, when you all have to take turns in reading a book and stuff, and feeling a bit, you know, bored with stuff. But I feel like early adulthood, up until perimenopause, was my sort of ADHD years, I'd say. But it's certainly, yeah, autism's definitely in charge now. And I'd say autism was definitely in charge when I was young as well. So for me, ADHD has definitely been related to hormones, which is interesting. Oh, Kitty, I had that the other day when I found the way somebody said something really funny. I think she's probably confused. Offended. No, I do it all the time. Honestly, I tell you what, my brain will focus in on something and find it really hilarious. And you know, I won't even be able to explain to the other person what is funny. I can't help it, really. So I apologies to Jim there, because that wasn't the intent, but for whatever reason, um, I think because it chimes with me, maybe. Um, but yeah, yeah, it's interesting. I've got a hair somewhere on my. There, I've got it. Hate that. You get a hair trapped in your glasses somewhere. Oh, be ever curious. Sorry to tell you, but on the other side of perimenopause, it doesn't get better. Yeah, you know, I am aware of that. For many people, it doesn't. What frustrates me, however, is that, and I've talked about this in another video. I can't remember which one it was, but in terms of HRT, we're given estrogen and progesterone, but no testosterone. And testosterone is the hormone that makes you think and, you know, feel like you're on it. And as well as giving you energy, and, you know, it helps with libido and all sorts. And that's the one we don't have. And you have to, you know, seek that privately here in England if you want to do that. But I tried it and it really didn't work for me. But you're only able to try the one type of Testagel, or whatever it's called. But I believe the NHS is exploring ways to give testosterone to people who are post-menopausal. Well, that's what I heard at the beginning of this year anyway, so I do need to research that further to see if that's going to happen. But I think that's, you know, an important part of HRT treatment, at least for some people. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, I think. Where are we now? We're at 2 hours now, folks. So gosh, I think I'm going to have to call it a night now. Oh, Jenny's off. Thank you for joining me, Jenny. And thank you for joining me, everybody. And Yeah, 2 years of Creative Autistic. Again, I feel like it's 6 months or whatever. It's just bonkers. So thank you all so much for joining me to celebrate, because it really does feel like a celebration, and hence why I've stayed so long, because you know, I feel like it's important to acknowledge it, really, and to acknowledge all of you folks and this community, because you've just become so important to me. It's like having friends, but without all the, you know, all of the stuff that comes with friendships. We can all kind of dip in and out of the internet as we feel comfortable or feel able. So um yeah, it's just, you're all really important to me, so thank you. And you know, I hope that doesn't come across as overly cheesy, because I don't mean it to. I mean it in honestly a heartfelt way. I didn't imagine my life would sort of turn out where I was like live streaming for once. I would have been horrified years ago if you'd said to me I'd be live streaming now, because I would have thought there'd be absolutely no way I'd be doing this. As somebody who hates public speaking, but this is a very easy version of public speaking, because I see handle names instead of, you know, pairs of eyes on me. So there is, you know, a massive difference there. But I've come to love it, and I've come to love this community. It's who knew? If only we could have all found each other years ago, really. I feel like it would have helped so many of us. You know, it is important, and regardless of how YouTube feels about autistic comments, autistic content, you know, it is important, and it is here to stay. You know, certainly in my case. So yeah, thank you. I always hate saying goodbye, and particularly because I've not been able to get through all of the comments, but I can really feel it on my eyes now. Happy channelversary, I think that says it all. So yeah, thank you all for joining me, parasocial friends. Apologies if I've not been able to read your comment out, or if you've joined late and I've not been able to say hello. I'll hopefully see you on the next one. I do my live streams on the first Sunday of every month, so it's April next time around, and by which time the clocks will have gone forward, so we'll have a bit more daylight then. So hopefully I'll be able to push it back a bit further into the day, so more people can join. Please like before leaving. Yeah, like the stream, folks. That'd be really helpful. 3, 2, 1, end stream. That's what Neil does, isn't it? He does the old. Does anybody remember Dusty Bin in the UK? What was that? It was called 3, 2, 1, wasn't it? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Yeah, thanks again. Apologies again, Jim. I feel a bit bad for laughing at your comment, and but you know, it's just one of those things, and I'm sure you're fine about it. But yeah, I think that's the difficulty of having no kind of nuance, really, or not having an idea of somebody's tone. So, but yeah, no, you, Richard, you know me so well. I always do this. I always just think about what is it I need to say before I go. Oh, I love you too, Pandaric. And again, thank you everybody for the super chats. They're called, are they live chats or super chats? One of the two. I always get confused, but I am perimenopausal. But yeah, thank you for all of the likes, and thank you for just, you know, watching my content, and you know, all of that jazz, really. It really does help, you know, just and I say this you know, on behalf of all creators, I'm sure, just having, you know, you watch the content and liking and commenting and stuff, it just all helps in terms of our own motivation as well. So yeah, super cats. Yeah, super cats on catnip tea, super chats on, yeah, super cats on super chats with catnip tea. Yeah, so I think that's going to be it, because I honestly, I'm just like rambling now, aren't I? So yeah, it really helps with your isolate. Yeah, I don't doubt, Jim, and you know, that's one of the reasons I do these streams, because certainly for me, had I known that I was a autistic person in my younger years, I know that I would have found live chats or live streams really helpful. So yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna hit end stream now. I'm not gonna copy Neil because that's his thing. Or maybe I should. No, I won't. So anyway, it's 5:40 now. I'm going to go and think about what I can or can't eat for my tea. So anyway, thank you all for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your day, whether it's the rest of your afternoon or morning, or evening or whatever. We're all in different time zones, so it's always difficult to say, isn't it? So I'm honestly going to stop rambling now because I'm annoying myself. So anyway, I'm going to hit end stream. Thank you all for joining me and for everything today. And yeah, have a good time of day. And I'll see you on, hopefully I'll have a video out this week. I'm hoping my MCAS stays off so, I can get one out, even if it's a short one. So thank you for joining me. In celebrating, happy birthday to Creative Autistic, as it feels like both an extension of me and yet something separate, which is weird. But thank you. I'm going to promise to hit end stream now. What am I like? Bye-bye, folks. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. End stream ends. See you later. Bye-bye.